Welcome to the scary world of dinosaurs. No one really knows what dinosaurs look like. These are just images of what they could look like. All we know is that dinosaurs are scary, most of them. And much like dinosaurs, proofs are scary too. Today our title is 4-3, Using Congruent Triangles. And today everyone's starting with the same beginning of their video. We're going to set up our notes. On our normal notes page, you're going to cut it in half next to your glue-in. And today we're going to be doing a jigsaw. You'll be either recording an A proof, B proof, C proof, or D proof. Note that on the back of your notes page, your typical tier 1 page, you're going to cut that page in half, and you'll need to listen to your C and D person to write those proofs there. Our tier 3 will be an activity you'll be doing after you've written all 4 proofs. If you're watching this video, then you're here for proof D. Proof D. The first thing you're going to do is copy the given and prove, then this diagram, and then this little plan. We're going to come up with a plan of how to prove this. Here's what the given information says. PA is parallel to RK, and PK is parallel to AR. They want us to prove that angle P is congruent to angle R. Now the hint that I'll give you is that we are going to prove that these two triangles are congruent. But how are we going to do that? We're going to start by labeling our given information. PA is parallel to RK, and PK is parallel to AR. Now right off the bat, I know that those two triangles I showed you, they share a side, this side. So I know that that side's congruent to itself. The other thing I know is that I know how to prove angles congruent with parallel lines. So even though they didn't show it in here, I'm going to write it in. They didn't tell me what the names of the angles are, but to make my life easier, I'm going to go ahead and name this angle 1, this angle 2, this angle 3, and this angle 4. And that's something you can do on a test, a quiz, and in your homework so that you don't have to name the angle PKA. You can just call it angle 1. That's a nice little hint to know. Now, back to our proof here. We're trying to prove these triangles are congruent. The triangles PAK and AKR. I'm trying to prove those triangles congruent. And you know what I notice? Angle 3 and angle 2 are alternate interior angles, and they are congruent. And angle 1 and angle 4 are congruent because they are also alternate interior angles. Look at that, right there and right there. It makes kind of like a Z shape. So here we go. I like this. That's angle, side, angle. Angle, side, angle. I can show that triangle PKA, triangle PKA, I'm going to go through the double angle to the single. So RAK is congruent to triangle RAK by angle, side, angle. If I can do that, then I can say that the corresponding parts of the congruent triangles are congruent. All 6 corresponding parts are congruent. 3 congruent sides, 3 congruent angles. And one of those congruent angles is angle P and angle R, because corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. I'll say it one more time. Corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. That's something that we can abbreviate here, but I want you to actually write it out in our proof. For you guys, I'm only going to give you one hint. I'm going to tell you that the given is the first line, and that's not much of a hint. What I do want you to do is I want you to really look at our plan and see if you can fill out the statements and the reasons. Fill in whatever you can, and my hint to you is that there are 6 steps here. So see what you can do, and then unpause the video when you've done everything you can, and let's see how you did. All right, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to reveal the statements. We showed first that angle 1 is congruent to angle 4, and I better label that here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we showed that angle 1 is congruent to angle 4 because if two parallel lines are cut by a transversal, then the alternate interior angles are congruent. I want you to look at what I did here and bring this back to your group. 2 and 3 have the same reason. The same reason that angle 1 is congruent to 2 is the same reason that angle 2 is congruent to 3. So instead of writing it once, especially since it's really long, twice, I just wrote it once over 2 and 3, and you can do that too. We also said that AK is congruent to itself by the reflexive property of equality. And you know what? I'm going to be mean here. If this was you, I'd be mad. So make sure you put of equality. Oh, it's coming down with me. Oops. Let me get that back. Reflexive property of equality. Why are these two triangles congruent? By angle, side angle. And why is angle P congruent to angle R? This is the part you have to write. Corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. Now take all those hints back to your group, and thank you for sharing with them.